You're welcome.
Okay, I'm letting them in. Hi.
Hey, Ivy.
Hey, Desiree. This is Mamie. Hi, Valerie.
Hi. Hey,
Very, very
Val.
excited.
Aloha.
Hi.
Mamie and Ivy, I'm so excited about tonight. We should have a lot of people on the call, and we really promoted it, and so we're super excited.
Awesome.
And I have,
I'm ex-
I just want to thank you for taking your time out, you and Ivy, to be here to help support our team.
Not a problem. In fact, I'm excited because I actually use your patches, X39.
I love them. I love them. Hello,
Very
Marina. Hey, Janice.
excited.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm glad y'all could make it. Tonight's going to be an awesome call. Up. Somebody mustn't be able to get on. Hold on. Ivy, you can let them in if you would, please.
I am letting them in. If they have trouble,
You can disable the waiting room, Ivy.
how do I do that?
Oh, you know what? I just did that for you.
Oh, you know what? I don't even know how to do that. So that's awesome. There's things about there's things about my Zoom. I'm amazed at what it does and doesn't do.
I didn't realize you gave me host, so.
Sorry.
It's okay. No need to apologize.
Trying to eat dinner.
Oh, I understand. I always feel like I need to play some music in the background. I can do that for 5 minutes. Hold on.
Well, that's cool.
Alexa, play music, right? Was that Desiree?
Can you hear that?
Mm-mm.
Just a little bit.
Hold on.
So Ivy, go
Yeah.
into your share screen,
Yeah.
and then on the bottom, it has a thing called share sound.
Oh,
Okay,
cool.
here, let me do this.
There you go.
Oops. Oops, sorry. I don't mean to mute you all. I apologize.
Fine.
Isn't it wonderful how we never stop learning?
Yes.
It's a gift. Hey, Glenn.
Hey, how are you all tonight?
Good. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting us.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're so lucky tonight to have two very special people here. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you so much.
If you can
Look
hear
at you
that.
with a beard. I love it. The new
Can you
Tracy.
hear this?
What's that lady?
Tracy Tyler. Tracy introduced me to the LifeWave patches, and he's the one who changed my life.
You're sweet.
There you go.
David left to be on hold.
Hey, Miss
now.
Sarah.
Hey there, how are you lovely ladies tonight?
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Nice to see you again.
Yes.
We had to have a late dinner or late. It was
We
late.
were doing sessions earlier, so
It sounds
Okay.
delicious.
It was fish.
It's good.
It
I put
was.
a question out there on my Facebook to ask what people are taking for supplements because I'm always curious to know what people are taking. And somebody asked me like, are you trying to troll? I was like, no, I just want to know what people are taking. Just
Good
curious.
point. A lot of vitamin D.
Yeah, pretty much everyone said collagen, vitamin D, and zinc. And I don't take any of those, so I'm going to look into that.
Yeah.
Vitamin C. Oh, too.
I drink 3 droplets of iodine every other day.
There you go.
Hey, Jan. Welcome to the call.
Is it okay if I just use an X39?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Can you
that's
hear
what
the
it's all
music
about.
now? I played a little bit of the music to get
That's
us going because we had a couple more minutes before people join. I love it. This is a
Yeah.
lively crowd.
Here's my pack.
Yeah.
Yay.
We love it. Woo!
Yay.
Alive crowd that's alive.
Hey, Cherie.
Hi.
So Cherie is very special to me. She's been my mentor for several years now, and she's kind of taught me the ropes and a lot of things that we do together in different businesses, and just so grateful for Sheree. So
Awesome.
super exciting to have Sheree here with us.
Thank you for that, Des. I
Well,
appreciate
you all are in for a treat because Mamie Extraordinaire is going to share some really good stuff.
Awesome.
Thank you very much
you.
for inviting me again. Emma.
Yeah. Hey, Debbie.
Hello there. Good evening.
Good evening.
For the call at 7:00. Don't call again.
There's no call.
Where is everybody joining from? Can you all type it in the chat? I'm just curious.
Tuesday, not till 8.
Sure, sure. That's not what they're talking about.
I'll start. I am joining from, Atlanta. I am starting, where am I? Maryland, Rockville. Oh, Florida, Louisiana, New York. Excellent. Anyone else? Atlanta, okay. Oh, awesome.
And Ivy, can you teach everyone tonight how to chat like we do with Eric?
Cool.
How to chat like I do with Eric.
Yeah, because I always want people to, when we do our calls to chat, to,
Oh, you
go.
want them to engage?
Yeah.
Participate. Participate.
Yes, we can do that.
Yeah.
Engagement is going to increase your learning experience and also your ability to retain what you learned. So if you get really into what we share about tonight and you're fully focused and present, you're going to get a lot more out of the training.
Awesome.
So
Thanks
as Mamie is sharing, I encourage all of you to share the golden nuggets inside the chat.
Absolutely.
And I will also participate.
Thank you.
Excellent, yes. Yeah, and that participation is a big part of it. So we're almost at the at 7:30. Do we have everybody?
I don't think we have everyone, but let's just give it 1 or 2 more minutes and then just whoever gets in, gets in.
Okay.
On time.
Yeah, I want to honor everyone's time as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Chris, welcome to the call. And Mrs. Nunnery, thank you for being here too.
Thank you.
Well, it's 6:30 straight up, and I'm sure we're going to have several more people joining us from different places, but let's go ahead and let's just start our call because tonight is a really spectacular presentation from Miss Ivy or Coach Ivy and Mamie. They have years of experience, and Ivy personally is a consultant who helps close multi-million-dollar deals in corporate America. But she's also a peak performance coach. And I found her through one of the coaches that I work with. And I have worked with Ivy, but my youngest child, who is 20, actually started working with Ivy. And Ivy has really pushed her to the next level and keeps pushing. I say pushing, but she's really motivating her and helping her get organized in ways that I could not do. And that's the whole purpose of having a coach, is that they bring you to the next level or they may be where you want to be and you're not there yet. And they can help just tweak and guide you and help move you to that next level. And Mamie, she is another extraordinary teacher. And what a blessing for all of us to have Mamie here too, because Mamie actually is the director of Codebreaker Technology, which is a multi-million-dollar company. And they have used this technology throughout the world, and they have used it with presidents. They have used it in all types of different corporate arenas. And she also has her own coaching programs as well. So I'm going to let Ivy take it over from here. And we're just super excited to have you with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. We're so honored to be here. And before we get started, I wanted to ask you all, what did you what is one takeaway that you wanted to get out of today's training? And you can write it down somewhere or write it in the chat.
Become more successful.
More successful. Anyone else?
To be an effective communicator so that when I'm speaking to people, that I can understand where they are and I understand where I am, but to be very clear about what I want for the outcome.
Clear on the outcome. Anybody else want to share or type it in the chat? And I'm writing down there in the chat as well.
To be a better leader.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Who else wants to share? Or share it in the chat if you like, if you don't want to say it out loud.
I'll say to be more influential. I mean, it's one thing to be a leader, but to be influential and to be that leader that influences people, not just leads people. I mean, you get them to, I don't want to say you get them to do things that they won't, but you get them to do the things that they need to do, that they want to do, that they, and being able to do that, being able to be that person that can, inspire and influence people to, as Desiree said, get people to do things that they weren't, that they didn't think they were capable of. So how to be able to do that, how to step into that role or take on that role.
Very good.
Excellent. And Marina said, learn not to be intimidated by powerful people. Anybody else want to share a few more, what they want, what's their intention of getting out of today's training?
To get their team to the next level.
To be a better communicator, to get the point across that you're trying to teach them.
Mostly organizational skills, getting started on the right foot.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
I'm going to ask whoever isn't speaking and when y'all actually, when I can't even get it out, when Ivy and Mamie start speaking, that everyone mute themselves, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
I'll mute my line out right now.
okay. Anyone else want to share one last intention that they want to get out of today's training?
Well, one of the things that I put into the flyer, and I don't know if Mamie saw it, but so I know that this is something that we are going to talk about, but in being an effective communicator, being able to close more sales, increase revenue, and actually have the client's best interest at heart as we move through it. We want to be servant leaders.
Amazing.
Excellent. I love that share. Thank you. And you all shared some beautiful intentions. So I'm very excited to hand this over to Mamie. Are you ready?
Thank you, Ivy. Absolutely. Absolutely. When Ivy asked me to come by and talk to y'all, the first thing I asked her was, what company are we talking to? And I got really excited because although I am not a distributor, I am a product user. I use X39, I use glutathione, and I use YH-AON. So I am familiar with what you have. And for me, that's important because I love the product and you probably love the product because you're here tonight. And the reason why I want you to understand that when we go through tonight's information, this is what I want you to keep in mind. We're going to be talking about 4 different personalities, and the 4 different personalities are represented by the word bank. B for blueprint, A for action, N for nurturing, and K for knowledge. And some of you may have been exposed to other personality intelligence, but this is, or personality tests. And I want you to understand this. All the personalities assessments out there are the same, but we're completely different. And how do we explain that? All the other personality assessments are based in psychology. Psychology. So the study of a person. And, you know, both Sherry and I, when we were actually doing our thing, I used to be a teacher, and then I became a software engineer. And everything we learned in all of our personality assessments was to understand myself better. And then I had to figure out how to apply the knowledge I just gained to the person in front of me. And guess what? Not one of the personalities, although I got more educated, it never helped me earn $1. And so what is the difference between psychology and bank? Big difference. Bank is in the biology, not psychology. So we have studied the reason why people buy and why people buy into you. You think it's important for people to understand why they're buying into you? Absolutely. And so what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be going through the personalities, but I'm going to do it from a different perspective. I'm going to do it from a perspective that you already understand, and that is the perspective of LifeWave. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and this is what I want you to know. When I'm sharing my screen, I want you at any time, if you've got questions, go ahead and raise your hand. You guys know how to raise your digital hand? Okay, so if you actually hover on your picture, 3 dots, you can actually hover and then raise your hand there, or you can raise your hand and Ivy's gonna let me know because I can't see the chat box. The other thing that I would like to do, hold on, I just turned off the share, is every time you learn something new, this is what I want you to do. I want you to put a pound, so hashtag LifeWave, and then put the learn in the chat. And the reason for that is this. Desiree, at the end of the night, you're going to be able to print that chat out, and all the nuggets that people are sharing, you're going to be able to capture in the transcript. All right. So every time you learn something, pound LifeWave. That's how we're going to interact with each other, and put down what you learned. All right. So let's go ahead. I'm going to reshare my screen, and I'm going to give you some scenarios. All right. We're going to be talking about why people buy and why people buy into you. We're also going to talk about how many of you had a client where you just hit it off. And then you had a client that was like, boom. Not only did you attract, but then all of a sudden they started attacking. Well, we're going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about that attraction and the attack. And the reason for that is the 4 personalities are going to come into play. And what I want you also to do is, as we go through each of these personalities, I want you to think about who in your life fits. It could be someone in your life. It could be a client that you served. It could be a client that you served and couldn't figure out why they didn't buy from you. It could be a child. It could be a spouse. It could be anyone that you're in a relationship with. And we're going to have a moment where I'll say, okay, who in your life looks like a blueprint? And then you're going to have an opportunity to write those names down. Okay. Any questions so far? No? All right. So here we go. Although I am not an expert in LifeWave, I do love what I have, I researched when I first got introduced to the product. I loved your tagline, elevate, activate, regenerate. Those are power words that I believe when you are selling or influencing, I heard 2 words, I want to know how to influence people. If you don't like selling, influence is an amazing word to substitute with. So if you don't like selling, I'm going to say, how's about if we just influence people or we just educate them? And these are 3 words I want you to actually get accustomed to. Elevate. Elevate appeals to an action personality. You'll learn more about that. Activate, also action, and regenerate, action. So we're going to be learning about language and words that you can use to help close sales much faster and to also build relationships. So what we're going to also be talking about is unlocking the secrets to how you can become a high performance person. Now, I want you to understand that, according to salesforce.com, did you know that 67% of sales professionals miss their quota? 87% are not even ready or adequately prepared. And before you even open your mouth, 66% of your clients are already turned off by you. How many of you are wondering, how do we make sales if that's what we're up against? Well, with bank, what you'll get to understand is when you understand who's in front of you, then you have the opportunity to actually shift in languaging so that you can create rapport and connection with the people that you are either prospecting, doing a demo for, or telling your story about how you've succeeded or how LifeWave has changed your life. So, according to Robert Kiyosaki, he said the ability to sell is the #1 skill in business. So by raise of hands, how many of you believe you're in sales? Go ahead and raise your hand. Ivy, what does it look like? Everybody in sales?
Hand raises. And if you want to use a reaction button with a thumbs up, that works too. We do have people who are not on video, so I can't see their reaction.
No problem.
Have their thumbs up or they're raising their hands.
Awesome, I see. Great. Well, we're all in sales. My grandbaby, she sells to me every day when she wants to go buy something from the store.
Avocado.
All right. So I have a question for you. How many of you have heard this, have heard this myth? Sales is a numbers game. And in order to get more yeses, we have to get what? More no's. How many of you want to believe getting more no's will put you in a better space? I know for me, it doesn't. In fact, I would rather get more yeses than no's. And I actually met the author of Go for No. And I actually had to question her. I said, how many no's do you think we have to get? By the time we get a yes, we may not be in the business that we're in. Because how many of us actually want to hear no when we're out there in the field? With Bang, we're going to teach you how to get more yeses. And this is the secret. Sales is not a numbers game. All right. Sales is not a numbers game. Sales is a people game. And if you are in the game of sales or influencing, then you need to be in front of more people. More people. And the beauty that I see in LifeWave is that your products work. They have amazing results. And so the stories you get to tell are life-changing. And those are the stories that I want you to start thinking about, because as you meet each of these personalities, there's going to be a perfect story for them. So when we talk about Bank, just so you know, it's personality based. We are people focused and we are profit driven. And we will be talking, it really isn't rocket science. It's actually only personality science. And so today, what we're going to give you is the science behind Bank, the science behind how you can make a difference using our system of biology instead of psychology. And like I said, how many of you have actually taken personality tests? Go ahead and raise your hand. I have. Have most people taken personality tests? Well, in most cases, personality tests, you actually do a written or you go online. It takes a little while for you to get the results. Someone has to interpret it, and then you get the information back. With Bank, we can teach you to literally learn what personality is sitting in front of you in less than 90 seconds with various tools. And so the missing link that we found with Bang, with the personality test there is that when you understand the values of each of these personalities, you're going to be able to switch the languaging that you're accustomed to using, because every one of us have primary languages, and we will be able to shift into the language and the value sets of each of the personalities. That's what we call biology. When we're practicing biology, it's our ability to see and understand who's in front of us, and then we get to shift the presentation. And so Tony Robbins, one of my mentors, he said, let your prospects determine your presentation. That means when you know who's in front of you, you understand what you're going to be saying, shifting, and for some of us, what we even wear. In fact, we actually have, I'm giving you a high level, but there is a way to even determine a personality by just looking at the wall behind them in the Zoom calls. There's a way to look at garages and see how they actually organize it or not organize it. We look in closets. We can see the cars that they drive. All of those indicators leave clues as to who we are working with. Okay, we actually say that we can help you increase not only sales result up to 300%, but we can actually help you with retention, revenue, rank, and recruitment. Because the more you can actually connect and gain rapport with the people that are in front of you, the easier time that you're going to have to close sales. So how do we actually increase your sales up to 300%? Well, this is how I learned to actually increase it. We're going to say the blue, B for blueprint, is English. So if I walked into an English speaking seminar, do you think I'd have an instant rapport because we all speak English? Yes or no? Go ahead and type it in the chat box. Yes or no? Could we gain rapport and connection just because I speak English? The answer is yes. The likelihood of me being able to close people that speak English because I speak English gives me that base. Now, this is what happened. My job took me all over the world. And so when I went to Mexico City, I didn't speak the Spanish language. But what I did do is I learned how to say thank you. And I also learned to ask where the bathroom was. So I know how to ask where the bathroom is in every language that I visited. What I found is when I walked into a room where I was going to be training and I at least attempted to speak in the language that they were used to, I got a raving applause. That's because they know that Spanish was not my first language, but I did try. So I would actually walk in and I would ask, ¿Dónde está el baño? And they would giggle because sometimes I say the words incorrectly. I think the worst that happened to me when I was in Mexico City is I needed to get the gigantic stapler because we had to staple together 40 pages from a log that we had. And this is what I told them. ¿Dónde está el trapo? And what I asked them for was, where's the big poop? And I should have said, where's the el grapo, which was the stapler? And they just cracked up. And they said, oh, Miss Mamie, you asked us where the big poop was. And because I attempted to try, I actually gained the confidence and trust of the people that were in the room because they knew I was being authentic and I was trying. Then I walked into Thailand, where I was actually there to launch a multi-level marketing business. When I walked into the Thai workshop, I didn't speak Thai. but I did learn how to say, excuse me, my name is Mamie and I do not speak Thai. And what I also mastered was that bow, putting together my hand and say, "Katot ka, pupasatai madai ka, kun maybe ka." And when I did that, the 1,000 people that were in that room went nuts. I got 200% more likely, I was more likely now to close deals there in Thailand because I made an effort to at least learn a little bit of their language. Of course, for every country, I had a translator, and that upped my chances for actually closing the sales. Now, when I was able to do that, I increased my chances of closing the deal by 200%. So let me tell you, I had 1,000 people in that room. I did a presentation for 90 minutes. By the time we were done, and at the end of this presentation, I'll tell you what the close I used. By the time we were done, 997 people actually signed up to do the multi-level marketing company with me. That was when I was able to take it to the bank. Now, the next country that I visited was Korea. So we're going to say the knowledge in this area was Korean. Now, I have a hard time because I have a hard time hearing tonals. But what I did find was I learned how to say hello, anisayo, and I said thank you, amapsanira. And when I was able to do that, again, the Korean people loved the fact that I was attempting to learn their language. And then I let my translator do all the talking as I went through. Again, I opened Korea with a bang. And by the time I came back home after my 1-month stint, we had gone, and I think you understand this, I went from a ruby distributor to a diamond. All because I learned to speak the language of the countries that I was in. That is what we talk about when we do increase your results up to 300%. All right. So how did I do that? How did I do that? Well, there's a system. And the system I'm going to go through right now is based on personality. So let's start with the blueprint personality. Today, Ivy, as we were hearing people introduce what they were intending to learn, I heard a lot of nurturing. And so this personality is not always the first to sign up. In fact, it takes a little bit longer for the blueprint to actually purchase LifeWave products. And I'm going to tell you why. The blueprint personality, we display blueprint with the color blue. And when you think of blueprint, what are some of the things that you're looking at when you're looking at a blueprint? Details, specific specifications, because if we're off, that bridge may go off to nowhere, even if it is a hairline off on that measurement. With blueprint, it's about those details. They are also blueprints are what we call in this example of a box. They are inside the box. Blueprints follow rules. This is what is important to our blueprints. Stability, structure, systems. They need planning, they need process, they need predictability. They want to know that you're responsible. And the good news is that LifeWave is responsible, especially with all the patents that they have. Duty, rules, credentials, titles, and traditions are all important to a blueprint client or a blueprint prospect. Why is this very important? You know, I have a blueprint daughter. My blueprint daughter has my action grandbaby. When my blueprint daughter says it's time to go take a bath, my action grandchild doesn't like rules, and I'll talk more about the action. So what she does is when mom is actually running the water at 7:30 every single night, like clockwork, my grandbaby learned to play these games. And what she did was, as soon as she hears the water running, she goes, oh, it's time for a bedtime snack. It's usually a cookie or cracker, cheese. She breaks it up in 4 pieces and she takes 20 minutes to eat that one piece. And she goes, ah. And my daughter is having a fit upstairs because her timetable is going off the charts. With a blueprint, it's important for them to have that structure, have that timing. With Sherry, who is the genius behind Bank, this is what happened to her, and this is a financial story. You know, Sherry worked on closing a financial planning deal for about three months or so. On the 3rd month, the client called her up and said, "Hey, Sherry, I'm ready to sign those contracts." When Sherry showed up at the restaurant 10 minutes late, the gentleman was not very happy. And what happened was when Sherry went to pick up the contract on the ground, in her briefcase, the guy tells her, "You know what, Sherry, hold tight. I actually no longer want to do business with you." And Sherry was totally blown away. And why? Because she goes, "Wow, I was only 10 minutes late." Well, if you understand a blueprint actually does business on time, mitigating risk, and on a budget. And what happened was Sherry actually violated how many values on here for a blueprint? She violated structure and systems. Planning went out the window when she was 10 minutes late. She was not predictable. She broke the rules on the process and responsibility. And this is what the client told her: "Sherry, if this is how you're going to treat me when you have my when you don't have my money, I wonder how you're going to treat me when you have my money." That was a big blow to Sherry. So a blueprint, when you are talking to a blueprint client, it is important to understand that a blueprint will say yes to you if you've got a plan, if you've got systems, if you've got details, budget, and you've abided by their time. Now, let me tell you, systems in itself is a whole new paragraph and book that we can talk about. For a blueprint, it's all about saving yourself some time, energy, and money. That's their system. And when you are looking at a blueprint, you need to understand when you are talking about LifeWave, you're going to need to make sure that you fall in these categories when you're talking to them. Don't talk about the money. Don't talk about all the glitz and glamour that they can make. All they want to know is this company solid? So what I did was I took a look at your website so that I could support you when you find someone that is in the blueprint tendency. These are some of the things that you want to explain to them when you're talking about the opportunity of LifeWave. Let them know that you've got patents and proprietary wellness products. You've got details in a compensation plan. You've made the Inc. 5,000 list for the fastest growing private company multiple years, because that's a track record for them. And that your CEO, David Smith, has 30 years of business and product development experience. Those are some of the things that a blueprint is looking for when they want to talk about your company. Any questions so far on what a blueprint client would look like? Are there any questions, Ivy?
No, but they say, "Well, Mamie did a research for our call. You are a rock star, Mamie."
So what I want you to do right now is, what do you think a greeting would look like if you met a blueprint? Shout out some guests. What do you think that greeting would look like? Either shout it out or put it in the chat box.
Very formal.
Very formal, Desiree. Thank you. In fact, it would look like this. So for a blueprint, it's important for them, if you notice, the type of dress that they're also wearing is very professional. They're usually in a suit, button-down shirts. Their handshakes are firm, not spaghetti noodles. And they want to make sure that you have professionalism written all over you if they want to do business with you. So who in your life who in your life do you think might have been a blueprint or is a blueprint? Do you have a client that you looked at that is a blueprint? Okay, write down those names on your piece of paper. You don't have to share it. All you need to do though is when you're done, go ahead and raise your hand so Ivy knows that you have at least one name on your list.
Type the word yes in the chat box if you have a name for someone you can think of as a blueprint.
Cool. Does someone have a question? I think Marina's raising her hand.
I think she was agreeing.
Oh, okay, cool. Good. All right. So with the blueprint, keep this in mind. Make sure when you know that they have blueprint tendencies that you're talking about the structure of the company. LifeWave has an amazing structure. You've got what, over 70 patents globally, and you've got 100 that's in the field of regeneration. Those are some of the things that will say, oh, that company is solid. So when you're talking to someone who is of a blueprint personality, they're looking for how solid, how responsible is your organization. Okay, so the next personality we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about actions. And I'm going to go ahead and take, yes.
Okay, so I would like if you would, if we could do that role play. If you were meeting me and I'm a blueprint, what would you say to me?
Well,
What would your language be?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing that you would notice with me is that I arrived anywhere between 15 and 30 minutes early for my appointment. 15 to 30 minutes early. If you're on time for a blueprint, you are late. If you are on time, you are late. Let me go ahead and back up here because there we go. So if I was talking to you and you were a blueprint, Desiree, this is how it would sound. Desiree, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today. I know that I've given you some information to review, and what I really wanted to point out is our company is solid. We've got systems that will guide you from the beginning of the sale to the end of the sale. We've got testimonies that we can actually take a look at if you need more information on how this has impacted someone else's life. And how we are known for the progression that we take based on the experience that the people who are building this company brings. And so you notice the tone even changes. And so it is, we have plans, we have systems. Our structure is that we take you from A to Z, and our team, so it's a little bit of a nurturing, our team will be with you every step of the way. All right. Thank you for that ask, Desiree. And we'll do that for each of the personalities. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at the action personality. And I'm going to actually tell you, I normally wear my nurturing glasses. So it's my nurturing is from yellow. When I show up for a action, I drive them crazy because I talk and I talk and I talk, and we call that information vomit. I want to tell them how I love the product and that, oh my God, what it did for me, the energy level I got. An action is not looking for that. What they're looking for is they're looking for bottom lines. So I'm going to take off my nurturing glasses when I know that I've got someone like Ivy sitting in front of me, and Ivy is an action personality. And so all it is shifting out of my nurturing glasses and putting on my action glasses. We chose red for the color of action. Why? Because that's the colored carpet that they love to walk on. Our actions are the movers, the shakers, the millionaire makers in their own mind. Of course, they love to be the center of attention. And when we talk about the box, actions go, what box? Get me out of that box. Don't put me in a box. All right. With the action personalities, they really do show up with energy. A lot of times, if we're at conventions, you know the action personalities because you will hear them before you see them. They have the ability to be big and gregarious. And then we have those actions that have the ability to just command the attention of anybody in the room. Unlike the blueprint, our action personalities, they love freedom. They want flexibility. They want spontaneity and action. They want opportunity. So the first persons in the room that are buying your product are usually actions or nurturing. The action personalities love excitement. They love the attention. It's about stimulation for them. They love competition. And so for direct sales company, competition comes into big play. Why? Because as you rank up, you get different perks, you get recognized. Actions love it. They love winning, they love fun, and they love image. That means they love to look good. Now, of all the personalities, actions, they are the ones who love bling. They love name brands, name brand shoes, name brand shirts, name brand purses. They love name brands. And when you see that they have name brand on, compliment them on it because they love to be noticed. When we're dealing with an action personality, they don't want the details. Blueprints, they want details. They want you to be on time and they want you to mitigate risks. Our actions, personality, when you tell them rules were made to be, what do you think they answer? Broken. Thank you, Desiree. I can read lips. When you ask a blueprint, rules were made to be, and they would tell you followed to the T. And so with an action personality, you want to make sure that you add in that flair, that flexibility. Listen, you also want to know what's in it. They want to know from you, what's in it for me? What's going to be in it for me, Desiree? Because if it's nothing in there for me, I'm done. Okay. Now with the action personality, they like the win. They love the bottom line. Sell them the sizzle. You know, sell them the sizzle, what's in it for them, and make it all about them. So how do you do that? You know, Life Wave, these are some of the things that you could actually talk about when you know the person in front of you is a action personality. You're going to love this company. Why? Because we have a flexible global business opportunity. We're in over 100 countries. In fact, you get paid weekly. And then there are bonuses on bonuses on bonuses. And the biggest deal is this. We have celebrity and professional athletes that give us their endorsement. I believe you have 23 that's listed on your website. So if you're going in and someone, they love, I think you had a softball player. You also had an Olympic, you had a Olympic skier and snowboarder. Those are the athletes that you want to be highlighting because people can relate to that. So let them know you got celebrities, you got professional athlete endorsements. You are, LifeWave is actually in Inc. magazine. All right. And you're the fastest growing. And I know that throughout your website, it also says that you are very generous in your commissions. All right. So those are some of the things that you want to start talking about when you talk to people who may be an action personality. So what would that sound like if you were talking to someone? Imagine this, Desiree. Join us in LifeWave and you can have the freedom to make as much money as you want. Sky's the limit. In fact, on some of our, when COVID allows us to be live again, When we have our conventions, we do have professional athletes and celebrities who show up because they endorse our product. That's how good our product is. And it's so exciting because the people that we work with, they have had life-changing results. Got more energy, lose weight, look good because the skin looks better. So you see, it's a different target when you're speaking to an action. So our blueprint actually shook hands. What do you think our action personalities will greet you? How do you think they're going to greet you? High five, fist bump, elbow bump, fist bump, chest bump. That's how they greet. And then when they are across the room, they don't do all that big gregarious things. All they have to do is give you this charismatic nod of the head. That's what you can be watching for as we actually then be, when we get back out into our BNI meetings and other social gatherings, is be the observer. Watch how they show up in the room, because a blueprint will show up in their suit and very formally. Actions, they come in late because why? This party doesn't start until the action person shows up. All right. So when they show up, it's a high five. And when they show up as a high five, they usually take that center of attention, and they have no problem holding the attention of the audience. So keep this in mind when you're dealing with a action personality. You want to make sure that if you are a blueprint, a nurturing, or knowledge, that your energy level raises up. You look them in the eye, you talk with your hands, you talk with your body, you get excited, because that's what they're waiting for. So go ahead, write down a name, 2, 3 names of people who are, who you believe could be an action personality. And then I'm going to ask, is there any questions? Ivy, keep me on time, yeah?
Yep, you're good on time.
Awesome. All right, any questions on the action personality? Nope. All right. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and talk about my favorite. My favorite is the nurturing personality. Everybody go ahead and put their 2 hands together and make a heart and go, "Aw." Our nurturing personalities, they are not the movers and shakers. They are not the detail-oriented people. They are the people who will help you build your LifeWave business. You have to have at least one nurturer in your business, because these people will help you build an organization so large. And the reason why is because when they can understand what LifeWave can do for people's lives, and that's change it. When they learn that LifeWave can help with the pains, LifeWave can help us lose weight, burn fat, it helps our skin, it gives us vitality. That is where a nurturer will come along for the ride. With a nurturer, they are that ray of sunshine. When they walk in, people just flock to them because they have this positive energy. They exude love and they exude smiles. When we look at the box, they are not in the box, they're not outside the box, they recycle the box. And so for a nurturing personality, it is all about impact. So I want you to understand this. Blueprints will not buy from you unless you got your house in order and the deal is given to them step by step. An action, they're going to hear money, they're going to hear travel the world, they're going to hear all this, what's in it for them, and they'll say, sign me up. And sometimes they don't even know what they're buying. Of course, our action personalities will make that decision quick, but keep in mind, they also are the very same people who will ask for a refund within the 3-day right to rescind. Okay, from a nurturing perspective, they don't deal with money. A nurturing personality has a different kind of currency, and you need to understand this currency. The currency of a nurturing personality is relationships. it's kindness. If you want a nurturing personality to join your tribe, make it a community, make it a family. They actually thrive on relationships, authenticity, personal growth, significance. They believe in teamwork and involvement, community, charity, and ethics, harmony, morality, and contribution. This is the one thing that you have to understand with nurturers. When they believe in your cause, they will tell the world. What I want you to keep in mind is this: if you ever cross them, they can take you down. Okay? I'm a nurturer by trade. I will give you the last shirt I have. And if it's on my back and you need it, I'll give it to you. But this is what I want you to remember. Do not mistake my sweetness for a weakness. And when people hear me say that, they go, okay. I'm one of them that if you, I will smile at you and I will also take you down. Because if you hurt one of my people, yes, Ivy, you hurt one of my people and you will see a different side of Mamie. That's what a nurturer is all about. You find an awesome nurturer in your team and they will help you build. And they will help you build your LifeWave business bigger than life. And the reason for that is this: when they believe in a cause, they will get back, they will step behind you and support you in any way they can to get you to the top. So what do you need to know about a nurturer? You need to know that nurturing personalities drive mission. They love relationships, community, and contribution. When you talk about LifeWave opportunities for them, use some of these words. Help people feel better. They're going to be able to look younger. They're going to be able to enjoy life. And the business opportunity, it's all about inspiring personal and professional fulfillment. And if you notice, my voice has now become a little lower and the tone is a little different when I'm working with a nurturing. You have a caring and supportive community. I know that because look how many people showed up for you, Desiree. Okay. And then we improve the quality of life. Now, if there are any nonprofit or charity work that you all do for LifeWave, then also include that. When you're talking to a nurturer, tell them your story. Why are you there? And why you continue to be involved with LifeWave. So what do you think their greeting looks like? What's the greeting for a nurturing personality? Oh yeah, it's a hug. It's a hug. And so when you have a nurturing personality, I'm going to tell you right off, if you're nurturing, not everybody loves to be hugged. In fact, not everybody loves to be touched. In fact, when you're nurturing, that's the one thing that you're going to learn, that not everybody is going to want to love you. Okay. That means if you see someone, when you go in for that hug and you see someone go like this, that means that it's very clear they don't want to hug, and be okay with that and don't take it personally. All right. Who in your life is a nurturer? Who in your life is nurturing? That's right, Abby, you are nurturing. All right. How's everybody doing so far? Do you have a good idea of 3 of these different personalities?
Type yes in the chat if you can respond.
All right, Ivy, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put on my green glasses because not only is it cool,
Excellent.
it's because the green represents our knowledge personality. They are the smartest people in the room. And we depicted it with green. Green for data, green for learning, green for the matrix. How many of you saw the matrix, right? That data screen that came down, it's the green and black screen. Knowledge personalities love learning. They are lifelong learners. They are not in the box. They're not outside the box. They don't recycle the box. Our knowledge personalities actually built the box for us. And it's depicted with green because it is also the ability for them to logically dissect things that are complicated. All right. So let's take a look at what's important to a knowledge personality. What's important is this: learning, 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 intelligence, logic, self-mastery, technology, research and development, science. Universal truth is a big thing for them. Expertise, competence, accuracy, and the big picture. Our knowledge personalities is the personality that is almost forgotten. And the reason for that is because as we grew up in grade school, our knowledge personalities were separated pretty early in the education system. And they actually became different. Different because the teachers didn't have to deal with them because they were not bouncing off walls. They weren't begging to be the teacher's pet, and they were not asking for details to do their homework. Teacher gave them the instruction, they went back to their desk and they just did their work. The problem that we have is as our knowledge personalities grew up, they were kept in that separation. And now our students have now become adults, and our knowledge personalities are now dealing with, I am not heard and I'm not seen. I am not heard and I am not seen. With a knowledge personality, we need to understand that if it doesn't make sense to them, the first thing they're going to do with you is they're going to question and question and question. And did I say they're going to question you until they get the answer they're looking for? And if they believe that you have the wrong answer, I need you to be prepared to go into a debate, because this personality is like the dog with the bone, and they will ask and ask until they get the answer they either understand or need. Now, of all the personalities, this is the only personality that tells you the truth when they say, Audrey, I got to think about that. I got to think about that. How many of you have heard that after you've done your presentation? I got to think about that. They are the only personality that actually does need to think about it, guys. And what happens is this: when they think about it, it's because something that you've said has not rung true for them. And so when you're dealing with a knowledge personality, these are some of the things that you need to keep in mind. Your presentation to them must be logical. They want the big picture. They don't want details. And they want it void of emotion. So our knowledge personalities want to make sure that they're just getting the facts. If you're not the expert, then make sure you have a lifeline where you can say, you know what, I don't know that answer. And you can either say this, but I can get you a link so that you can do your research, or I can book an appointment with Desiree and she can answer all of those questions for you. They are looking for the expertise, and they want to know that you are the master of your knowledge. If you don't have that information, don't pretend that you do. That's the one thing that you don't want to be doing with them. All right. With the knowledge personality, these are some amazing things or facts that you can actually let them know when you're talking about LifeWave. You really do have 100 global product and technology patents. And 70 of those patents are in the field of regenerative science and technology. And guess what? There is a lot of information that you can actually pass on to them to satisfy the knowledge. You do have cutting edge research. You've got clinical studies that they can read up on and science to back it up. And when you deal with a knowledge personality, just know they may not purchase from you the first time around. And so what you want to make sure is that you provide them with the information, the URLs, handouts that you can actually show them. Anything that you can actually share. I was looking for my LifeWave documentation, because you have excellent documentation. All right, so those are some of the things that a knowledge is looking for when you are doing business, doing a demo, and so forth on them. So what do you think the greeting of a knowledge personality looks like? What do you think the greeting looks like? Actually, they don't like to greet. In fact, it's the Vulcan salute. Just joking. Their greeting is all about giving you a business card. So for those of you who think business cards are out of date, for a knowledge personality, a business card is their ability for them not to have to touch you in a handshake, hug you, or give you any contact. Don't take that personally. It's not about you. It's all about them being able to control their own sphere. All right. With a knowledge personality, it's important for you to understand that if you're not the expert, make sure you have someone to help back you up on that. So do you have anyone in your life that is a knowledge personality? Go ahead and write their names down. Okay. Ivy, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to give them the ability to learn more about them. And that is to talk about cracking your code so you can understand more of who you are. And then you'll get a report that tells you your personality. When we take a look at the 4 personalities, we have approximately 24 different codes that are out there. And how do we actually handle that? Well, we are all 4 codes. The order in which we are coded will depend on the value sets that you have. And this is the key. If you understand if their knowledge, if their action, nurturing, or blueprint, you will also understand that that gives you the ability to shift, take off your primary glasses, and then put on the additional so that you can see what their value sets look like. Okay. Ivy, you want to go ahead and put your link in there so that they can actually get a code crack.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to open up the floor for some questions and how we can integrate.
So Mamie, would you explain to the team exactly what the code crack is?
Sure. Thank you for asking. So what Ivy is doing is she's putting in a link where you can actually click on. It's going to take you less than 60 seconds. Less than 60 seconds, and our artificial intelligence engine behind our bank pass will actually crack your personality code based on your ranking of the value sets of each personality. And what's going to happen is this. We want you to take a look at the cards. This is what it's going to look like. I'm going to have to take off my blur here. Ivy, you got any cards in front of you?
Yes, one sec.
Okay. So you're going to see cards on the screen. When you click on that link, you're going to read the cards, and then all you can do is drag it in the order of importance to you. The most important in the first position, least important in the second, last position, and then the third and fourth in its place. So it looks kind of like this. All right.
Or action cards.
And it has value sets on there. So like if you believe that freedom, flexibility, spontaneity, action, opportunity, excitement resonates with you, then put that in the first position. What's going to happen is Desiree's an ANKB. Thank you, Desiree. When you actually order those cards, you'll be able to put in your name and your email. We are not using that email to solicit you. This is for information purposes. You'll be able to get a report talking to you about your particular code. So with Desiree, she's going to get a report that tells her all about the action, nurturing, knowledge, blueprint. And then what's going to happen is If you are actually interested in learning how Ivy can talk to you, because Ivy's going to get another report that tells her how to speak to you if you're her client. She can actually get that sent over to you also. Okay. Ivy,
So
the
I would
other,
like to share something.
sure.
So I'm not well versed into the cracking of the codes, but I do have the cards and I actually have used them. I when I start with somebody I really don't know, I had learned this from listening to the audios was, so I want to best serve you. And if you could rank these cards in the order of which is most important to least important, that would be very helpful so that I can make sure that you get everything you need. And it has really been, and people love it because at first it feels really weird, but they love it because it's all about them. So
You
I've
know,
enjoyed using them.
I actually, when you get to know me, you think, oh, Mamie, she's in action. She wants to be out there in the limelight. I tell you, if you ever have a party and you invite me to it, I will be in your kitchen. Your kitchen will be cleaner than when I arrived. And that's because I am not a true action. I don't like to be in the front, but I will step into my action because that's what's needed at the time. These cards and the assessment test, let me tell you a little bit of how I used it in the past. Anyone who does an appointment with me must crack their code. And the reason for that is this. I would rather know what their code is. And when I speak to them, I can literally close a sale much quicker than if I had to guess what your code is. And an example is this. I am a nurturing action blueprint knowledge personality. I was working with a blueprint realtor. Her code was blueprint nurturing. And she asked me a lot of systematic questions when I first met her. And I met her for the first time, took me 29 minutes to close a $10,000 deal. 29 minutes to close a $10,000 deal. Why? Because when I understood she was blueprint, I gave her the details and the structure and the system that I would actually use with her if I coached her. The other thing too is when I used to work for the television company, I worked with the largest television conglomerates that's on TV today, and some of my clients were like Comcast, Warner Brothers, Sony. So I traveled internationally. I actually had to pull out my cards because we were having some problems. We had about 1,000 bugs in a system that we were selling. And so when I have to show up on site, that means we got some major problems. So when I showed up on site, I listened and I observed, and I realized that we had a presentation that was all knowledge. It was about the data. It was about the fields that they were going to build within the software. And when I saw the stakeholders, 15 stakeholders, I realized that they were not knowledge. And the presentation we were about to give them was probably going to go right over their heads. And Mamie was not going to be able to save the contract because I would be speaking the wrong language. And so I asked my boss, I said, hey, would you trust me? And she said, sure. What are you going to do? And so I pulled out 4 sets of these cards for the 15 people. And I said, how many of you would allow me to get to know you better? I'll be able to serve you better. And it's going to save us some time as we go through this presentation. And the CEO at that time was an action. A lot of the others were nurturing. And they said, yeah, give me those. What are those? What are those? And so we played a game with stakeholders. That means C-suite executives I was dealing with. They all did the code crack. And you know what I found out? None of them were knowledge. They were all nurturing action. And so my boss, I was supposed to do the presentation. I said, I tell you what, guys, I'm going to forego this presentation. And I closed the computer and I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to speak from the heart because I really believe that this project we're about to engage in is the baby that you have been working on for years now. And they were at first shocked because I wasn't going to use the presentation because it had a lot of data. So I talked about how installing our software was going to change the face of how they did business. I painted a picture as to how we would be able to accomplish that. And would you believe by the time we were done, of course, we had to go through some negotiations, but when all was said and done, we walked away with a $23 million contract that spanned 5 countries. And at that time, they had already told me that I would be laying off, of the 300, I'd be able to keep 39. But then when it came to 39, they said, you're laying off everybody. And so what we did was we were able to reutilize the people that were about to get let go. So instead of losing all 340 of my employees, I actually lost 300, but I was able to reutilize 39. And those 39 of my employees were able to choose the continent they wanted to work on. All because we decided to forego a knowledge presentation and set the precedence of this is what they would get. And we told the story instead. That's the power of understanding the languaging behind the personalities. The report that you're going to get from cracking your code is going to help you at least start with who you are. It's also going to talk about all 4 different personalities. And what Ivy will actually provide to you is the reports. And if you want more information, we have the ability to, Ivy, will you send them information on the Kickstarter program?
Yes, I can do that. I can send you a link. Let me find it on here.
And what this is how many of you like to read or watch videos? So what Ivy's going to give you is she's going to give you a link. It's called the Kickstarter Pro. And what that is you're going to be able to read the book, Why They Buy. You're going to be able to get additional in-depth information on each of the personalities. You're also going to be able to get 2 what we call masterclass. If we now know that sales is not a numbers game and it's a people game, the 2 master classes are going to show you how you can incorporate bank into sales and how you can incorporate bank into relationships. And I love sales, but I love relationships even more. Bank has helped me save the lives of several children who are on the verge of committing suicide. And it was because we found out that they were literally knowledge personalities, and we were able to get their parents and their siblings to understand that they're not broken. They just have a different personality. And so bank has been used in many different ways. We use it in emergency rooms. We use it with doctors, lawyers. We use it with the education department. Our biggest client, ladies and gentlemen, is direct sales marketers. And this is what it would sound like if I was done doing this pitch and I was ready to sign them up for LiveWave, because I've categorized, I've given them all the information on LiveWave. I've given them the facts. I've given them what they can get out of the program, the benefits of using X39, the health reasons for it. And when that's done, this is what it would sound like if we used what we call a 4 bank close. This is what it would sound like. I know for a fact that actions and nurturing will purchase immediately. Blueprints and knowledge require more information. So guess who I'm going to close first? I'm going to close the actions. That's right. I'm going to close you, Desiree. Right? And this is what the words would sound like. How many of you can see the opportunity that LifeWave can provide to you? It's exciting. We're all over the world. There's a potential you might be able to see and meet some of the celebrities and professional athletes that take our product. The bottom line is you could make as much money as you want. Who's ready to sign up? So I've already given them all that information. So I'm just doing a seed close. How many of you are ready to give me your autograph? Awesome. Desiree, can you raise your hand? All of those who are ready to sign and give us your autograph, go ahead, get your things, and then go back to Desiree. This is in a live event. And Desiree will actually go through the application with you, and then she'll ask for your autograph. Go ahead, do that now. Nurturing. How many of you know people in your lives that could have better health, could use help in alleviating some pain, or get more energy, and just basically help them have a pain-free or joyful life? If you can see how this community can support you in that, what I'd like you to do is go ahead and pick up your things. And I'm going to send you over to Sherry. Sherry, go ahead and raise your hand. Sherry raises her hand. And all of our nurturing clients will then stand up and go over to Sherry. And Sherry will take good care of you. In fact, we got a team of people there that'll take all your questions, and they'll make sure that you're comfortable in what you are what you will be joining, and that's going to be our community. Now, for me, I always say Ohana. Ohana means family. It's the people we choose, and it's the family we're born into. That's what you get when you join LifeWave. Go ahead, stand up, and Sherry, raise your hand. Sherry will take good care of you. This is the blueprint. As you can see, we do have systems. We've got protocols. We will give you that step-by-step process so that we can ensure that you have all the information you need, the details that will answer all your questions. And we do have a system that you're going to be able to follow. If you're ready to join that system, go ahead. And I'm going to ask you to go to Valerie, and Valerie will give you more details on how and what you will be getting involved with. There you go. All right, guys, this is all of you who are still sitting in your seats. I know you have more questions, so this is what we're going to do. And what I did in Thailand is I took off my microphone and I said, we're going to get a little cozy here. Go ahead and move up a couple of rows. And I'm going to sit here for the next 30 minutes and I'm going to answer any questions that you have. And the other thing that I'm going to do is, Rex, do you have those handouts, please? Rex, go ahead and hand out those one sheets. And what you're going to be getting is you're going to be getting all of the different URLs that you can go to find out our clinical studies, our case studies, our research. If you're looking for patents, you can actually, we have a few that's listed that you can read up on it. What we want to do is provide you with as much information as you need to make that educated decision. What's your questions? And then they actually ask the questions. A lot of times you may not be able to close them, but you'll be able to answer the questions. And this is the one thing I'm going to tell you with knowledge personalities. Knowledge personalities, give them the information they need, but also book the appointment so that you can follow through. And this is what it would sound like. So Tom, how long do you think it would take for you to take a look at all that information? And I let Tom tell me how long it's going to take. And if he says 5 days, amazing, Tom, great. I tell you what, take 5 days. On Saturday, I'll go ahead and give you a call and see if you have any other questions. So I'll close him on Saturday. Got it? That is a four personality close. Tom, you got your hand up?
I do, Mamie. Thank you. Brilliant, brilliant system. Very good. I was just on the website and I wanted to buy the digital book along with the card sets. And I noticed that you're not using PayPal. And with cybersecurity as it is these days, I would prefer not to have my bank card information on any site because you may have already been hacked and not know it. And I'm wondering, is there a way that you can add PayPal? At least I've got something intermediate intermediate, and I don't mind logging into PayPal and having that transaction go through that way.
You know what? How's about if we do this? Ivy and I will discuss it, and then we'll do it offline and then get back to you, Tom. So if you would do this, would you crack your code at least? And
I
then
did.
Ivy, cool. Then Ivy can actually work with you offline for that, okay?
That'd be great. You've got my information then.
Awesome.
Look forward to talking with you,
Cool.
Ivy.
Awesome. All right. What other questions do you have? Thank you, Tom. Wow, no questions.
I don't have a question, but
Oh.
Ivy, since you're working with Olivia,
Mhm.
can you tell me what her code is?
Yes, I will do that.
And the reason why I want her to share this is because here is my child who I knew about bank about 3 years ago, and I thought she was a totally different code. And so had I had this information when I was raising my children, I think that not that they didn't turn out great, because they did, but I could have been a better parent. And I think that I always want to be pushing that envelope to be the best that I can be. And I'm just talking from
Absolutely.
a family perspective.
Mhm.
Had I understood that Olivia was the personality that she was, I could have been a little different,
Absolutely.
So
Mhm.
just like you talked about your daughter being a blueprint and your grandchild is an action, it's so different. So what is Olivia?
She is a KNBA.
And I thought she was a nurturer first, and I thought she was action then blueprint. So I was totally off of all of it. So just because I thought, just like Mamie said, if you can waste a lot of time not knowing but trying to guess what they are.
Mhm.
So I think I really didn't know how to use the tools that I had even 3 years ago. And then I misplaced them. And then when Ivy and I started chatting again, I say again, but when we started chatting, I became re-engaged. And I was like, wow, this is really, really fascinating. And so I was wondering, and I don't know, I mean, is there anyone here that would like to work as a team? Because we wouldn't do it on our Tuesday call or our Monday call. And the other thing that I wanted to really talk about too was that, Monday, the first and third Tuesday of every month, we do a LifeWave presentation. And then the second and fourth, we either bring new information or we have someone come and talk about LifeWave. And this is a little different. And my job as a leader, and any of y'all, all of you are leaders leading your people. My job is to bring the best knowledge that I know of, but it's up to you to decide if this is what you want, because not everything I bring is going to be something that resonates with you. This happens to resonate with me. And I think that what I'm seeing and talking with so many people is that they want to grow their business, but they have this gap. And how do they grow their business if they have this gap and they don't know what it is? And how do you break it? And we all live our lives in patterns. That's what, Eric Lofholm always talks about, living our lives in patterns. But how do you break the pattern that you're unaware of? So that's why we bring people like Ivy and Mamie to these calls, because they can actually help remove the obstacles that are in front of us that we don't even know what they are. So anyway, that is why I do this. I bring the best that I know of, to this call so that we can all have choices, and choices lead to opportunity. So no one is obligated to do any of this. This is all if this is what you want to do. So if anybody wants to work with Ivy as a team, just please, raise your hand or, message me so that we can do it together. So
I have another question
yeah, go ahead.
if we have a minute. I wanted to ask Mamie, again, brilliant presentation. It struck me as you were getting to the point where you were saying there's 24, 29 different combinations of the bank code, because I was going to ask that question. How can anybody be just one of the four?
Yeah.
And you stepped right into it. Everything everything follows the standard distribution curve. Is there a predominance of a bank code that is in our population? Is it an action, nurturing, blueprint, knowledge person that is more than 50%, or is there any predominant bank code that is prevalent in our American society? Because I'm sure it's
And
cultural.
it's so funny because the joke is that Americans are actions because they got kicked out of Europe, which is a blueprint country. But in actuality, there's an equal it's pretty equal across the board. It
Okay.
also will depend on the type of activities that you're attending. For instance, when you go to Hawaii, everybody thinks that, because I was born and raised there, that we are a nurturing society. But in actuality, it is a cultural it's a cultural learn for us to be a nurturing society. If you take a look at my family, I am a nurturer, true and true, just like my mother. My father is a knowledge. My sister, the second one, she is a blueprint. Her nickname, Sergeant Striker. She is a civil service employee. She just retired. You walk into her house, this is like, I told her, oh my God, this is the reason why I don't like coming to your house, Beatrice, is because when I'm drinking a glass of water, before I can even put that glass of water down, my sister has pulled that glass. She's washing it. She dries it. Then she opens up her cabinet. And this is what it looks like. Her glasses are height. They're put away by height, smallest to the tallest, 2 inches straight down, perfectly put in. When my sister walks in, she is a no nonsense girl. Okay. Then you have my sister, my other sister, her name is Rita. Rita is a knowledge nurturing. And so she will kill you with kindness, but she will give you the facts and figures. And the funny part is we have 7 of us and we are all diverse. I am married, with a bank, opposites attract. So we find the statistic is this, Tom, actions will marry blueprints and nurturing will marry knowledge. And the reason for that is this, we complete each other. That's where the opposites attract. I've been married to my husband for 40 years. God bless him. I love him to death. I would not trade him for the world, but he drove me nuts. Because when I ask him a question, it takes him forever and 2 years to answer one question. And yet I can see him thinking, the wheels are turning. And so what I learned from Bank is this. I learned not to do this to him. Today would be good if you could give me the answer. Because that irritated him. And when Valentine's Day came along, here's the nurturer. I love chocolates and flowers. My husband goes out and he buys me this is what one of my gifts were. He goes out, he brings home foam that I have to step into. I'm like, what is this? And he takes the foam, and what I didn't realize was that I have a high arch, which causes me some back problems. My husband for Valentine's Day got me a customized arch so that my back would be equalized. And so he came home with that on Valentine's Day. And here I was, oh, where's my flowers? He goes, well, flowers do die. And I'm like, okay, where's my chocolate? Well, chocolate will make you fat. I have the statistics on it. And I'm like, okay. And there he is. He brings out my arch and I have it downstairs. That arch I can put into any shoe that I have. It could be my tennis shoes. It could be my pumps. And that I can then stand for 8 hours when I'm doing training on stage. Now that is priceless. But for a knowledge, totally different wants and needs. And so because of Bank, I finally realized why my husband did what he did. And did he love me? Absolutely. Just in very different ways. All right. Yes, Ernestine.
Okay, I'm not sure I'm on the right call.
Okay. Desiree,
Yes, Miss Ernestine, you are. This is
Oh,
Desiree.
Desiree, hey.
Yes, this was a different kind of call, just
Oh.
because I felt like we needed to be effective communicators. And so I think,
Okay. All
so
right.
you're on the right call.
Well, I'm not sure. I was calling to ask a question about the X39.
Okay, well, you can ask that question if it's okay with Mamie.
absolutely.
Okay. I just enrolled the person today, and yesterday she tried the patches and they had great success. So, and I mentioned to her about, and we were outside, and I mentioned to her about the heat acts of your body heat activates the patches. So now I just got a text from her saying she put them in the refrigerator in a plastic bag. Is that okay?
It's not
I've
gonna
never heard
harm
of
them.
that.
Uh,
Huh?
it's not gonna harm them, but I personally wouldn't leave them in the refrigerator.
Okay. All right.
That's
I
a
was
great
just,
question. I've never heard anybody do that.
me neither.
It only activates, even if it's hot outside, it's only gonna activate when it's your body heat.
Okay. Good. Okay. So I kind of misled her then because I thought it was just the heat,
No, it's your own, it's your body heat.
own body
Right.
heat.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being on the call.
Oh, you're welcome.
That
guess
is a great question.
I need to stay and figure out what you guys are talking about.
Okay. Well, I guess you'll have, if you're just getting on, you'll have to see the replay.
Oh, okay. You finished?
It's been about personality. Yes, the call started at 6:30. So
Oh my God. Okay.
yeah, we're about to wrap it up.
Okay.
So
Well, thanks for answering my question.
absolutely, Miss Ernestine.
Glad to hear you, Ernestine. Thank you. And I just wanted to share that I did record this, so if you wanted to hear the replay, I will share it with Desiree. And
Okay.
that way she can download it and share with you all. Or somehow she can take it and put it on somewhere where she can make it shareable.
Yeah, we usually put it on our Zoom call and then I send it out to people too individually. So I want to thank you, Ivy, for having the connection with Mamie to bring her on. This was such a wonderful treat and super excited. And for those who do want to work with Ivy and myself, and I'm not actually doing anything, Ivy's going to be coaching us, but it would be a different time. And anyone who is interested, they can contact me or contact Ivy. And I just feel like if we do it together as a group, whoever wants to do that, because I know Cherie is in, Colleen is in, and I don't know if Tom, you're in or not. I know that you wanted to get the book. It'll be very beneficial, but whoever wants to do it, we can do it together because there's more power, as a group, the energy, and we'll be able to feed off of one another. So thank you all so much. And I'd like everyone to come forward and thank everyone. You can unmute yourselves.
Thanks, Mamie.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Ivy.
Thank you, Tom.
Desiree, I think
Best.
there was one question. Someone
Okay.
raising their hand.
Alexis wants to make sure that you know that she's in.
Oh, yes.
Hi.
Okay. Yes.
Hello to everyone. Desiree, Cherie.
Thank you, Alexis.
Love you
Absolutely.
guys. I want to tell you, thank you so much for bringing these two wonderful women with all their expertise and knowledge. It's been awesome. I can totally relate with everything that you're saying because I can see and I know who pretty much is who. I have a hard time with trying to communicate with everybody because somebody wants to listen to me a lot. The other one doesn't want to listen to me that much. The other one just wants, give me this. I go, I gotta talk. If you don't stop talking, then I can't give you this, you that, and you that. So I need like about 100 sets of these cards where I can get them. So I could just give them to everybody and tell everybody, like, just be quiet. So I can get to each one of them properly.
You know what?
Drive
The
me
best way to
crazy.
get the cards, if you want the cards, go to Mamie. She can give you the cards. Reach out to me, but directly Mamie will make sure they're sent to you.
How do I do that? Through Desiree?
Through Desiree, and I'll put you in touch with Mamie. If anyone who wants bank cards, go to Mamie for the bank. She
Can I
has,
leave my information here? And you guys can I'll just put my email or something here.
Yep. You cracked your code and you wanted a set of the bank cards. I'm directing you all to Mamie. So either find Desiree or myself. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram. But if you do that, Mamie will get you as many sets of bank cards as you want. I want her to give you all the bank cards that make you happy. Mamie, good luck with giving her getting all the bank cards.
Oh, look, Mamie put her phone number in
Okay.
there. So
Just text me. Text me and I'll get it to you.
Yep, if you want the bank cards, go ahead and maybe just put her phone number on there.
it'll be the best investment ever. I mean-
Lifeway, you can just say that you were part of the training tonight. And if you want the bank cards, go to Mamie. Also, I mean, she's the go-to person until I decide I want to go get a lot of bank cards and sell them, but.
Thank you. Thank you very
All right.
much. It's
You're
been an
welcome.
awesome meeting. Thank you. Thank you so much. Many blessings to all of you.
Yes.
Bye.
I love y'all. Thank you so much.
Enjoyed very much.
Bye,
Thanks,
Tom.
Desiree.
Thank you so
I
much.
could only listen on the phone.
Go on. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go on.
No, this is Michael Dickey. I listened in on the phone. I was at work.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us.
It was
All right.
exceptional. It really was. Thank you both very much for spending so much time with our team
You're welcome.
Thank you
and giving
very
us
much.
insights that we never
Yeah.
had before.
All right.
Thank you, Mamie.
Good
You're
night.
welcome.
Live
Thank
long
you.
and prosper.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Mamie.
Appreciate the info a lot.
See you later. Hello. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye.